WWE bringing back an ECW pay-per-view name like WrestlePalooza. Today, I'm here to rank every single ECW pay-per-view name in history. So ECW only actually has a couple of real pay-per-view names, so I'm also including the Supercard shows just to kind of give it a little more variety. So we have 25. This should be interesting. I've done this before with WWE, and now we're doing ECW, and if everything goes well, I will also do WCW. Please understand, I am only ranking the names. I'm not ranking the poster. I'm not ranking the match cards. I'm not ranking anything else. Just the name itself. The categories are extreme, good, mid, no, and my favorite tier list of all time, jail.
Jail. You right to jail.
So we're actually starting off pretty straightforward with ECW's WrestlePalooza, which just happened again in WWE. They finally brought it back. I shit on this name the very second that WWE brought this name to life again and decided to title a pay-per-view in 2025 WrestlePalooza. I've said this before in any type of title of pay-per-view ranking, any type of tier list where I'm ranking names. If you're ever using a Palooza or a thon, like Wrestle-a-thon or something like that, if you're using like used car dealership names for pay-per-view events, I don't like them. I think they're stupid, and I don't like WrestlePalooza. I didn't like it for WWE, and I didn't like it for ECW. You're going in.
You right to jail.
Next is Crossing the Line again. But just so you know, there isn't another Crossing the Line. ECW has some really interesting pay-per-view names. I wanted to do them because ECW is grungy, it's gritty, they're kind of nasty. They want to play along, they want to teeter that line of what's okay and what's not. Their pay-per-view names are just weird. Crossing the Line again it's kind of boring. It's just stupid. Next is ECW's Born to Be Wired, which is a playoff of the song Born to Be Wired. A song I don't like, by the way. This one is fine. Probably filled with barbed wire. Play on of an actual song. Clever. I actually don't mind this one. I'm putting it in the good category. Next is ECW's As Good As It Gets. And this one makes me laugh because it's not even like convincing. It's just, this is as good as it's going to get. So fuck it. So just either you like it or you don't. And you got to deal with it. I think that's hilarious. I'm putting this one in mid. To me, I'm interpreting this as just like, this is what we got. So it's as good as it's ever going to get. So good luck. I think that's hilarious. Putting it in mid. Next is ECW's The Doctor Is In. And I understand that some of these titles are going to be relatable to the actual wrestlers that were in the pay-per-views. So I'm not really putting that into consideration when I rank these. I'm kind of just ranking them at face value as someone who has never seen ECW or someone who hasn't watched ECW. I just imagine myself back in those times of like 1994, 1995. You're unfamiliar with ECW and you're at the video store and you happen to see an ECW Supercard show or poster or something and the title is The Doctor Is In. Does that make me really want to watch a pay-per-view or an event? No. Next is ECW's Barely Legal. So I interpreted this in two different ways, and the way my dirty, twisted, little sick mind works, when I think of Barely Legal, I think of those infomercials at like 2 in the morning when you wake up, and it's the adult videos of like you want the phone number to call, and it's like Barely Legal. If you have cable and you grew up around 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and you've woken up in the middle of the night when you're watching TV, you know what I'm talking about. On the other hand, Barely Legal, you could argue that the stuff that they're doing in the matches are considered barely legal. They're just over the line of being put in prison, I guess, stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess you could go both ways with this. I could put it in good. I could also put it in no. I guess for ECW, I'm assuming that they're putting it in the sense of barely legal because it's so extreme and grungy and just the matches themselves might put you in jail. So I'm going to put it in good. But there is a weird part of that I don't like. Next is ECW's A Matter of Respect. Kind of mid. Doesn't really move me or anything like that. Doesn't make me kind of interested in anything. So I'm just going to put it in mid. Next is ECW's Enter the Sandman, and this is a great song. Obviously, this is a play on of Sandman, the wrestler, which I think is hilarious because it's Enter the Sandman, and Sandman isn't even the main event of the show. He's like the third or fourth to last match, which I think is really funny. I mean, Sandman is a cool nickname. Naming it Enter Sandman, iconic song from Metallica. I'll put it in good. The standards for ECW pay-per-view names are much lower than, WCW or WWE or even AEW, and if you're interested, I would even be willing to do an AEW pay-per-view ranking in terms of name. I would like to do one for WCW as well, so comment below if you want to see that because I would definitely do that. Next is ECW's Anarchy Rules, and what bothers me about this one is they replaced the S in rules with a Z, which would make a lot of sense, except the fact that they forgot the E in rules, and that bothers me because then you read it as Anarchy Rolls, because you need the E to make the U rules. And you could be like, oh, it just fits better. But like, no, it's like, even if you were in school and people do the doodling where they write like, so-and-so rules, you add the E. So it's missing an E. So it's just completely even spelt wrong, even in terms of like graffiti or anything like that.
You right to jail.
You're going in jail. Next is ECW's Living Dangerously. Ooh, it's better than these four, so I'm going to put it in mid. Kind of just nothing to me. I don't know. I don't like it. Next is ECW's December to Dismember, and I've talked about this in my other WWE pay-per-view name ranking video. I like this name, December to Dismember. You're talking about dismembering people. It kind of reminds me of the horror, gritty, vibes. I always like horror in like Christmas time too, so I just like this name. I'm putting it in the same spot as it did in the other video. It's going to go in that extreme good category, or I guess great. Next up is ECW's Heatwave, which this is another one. It's a common phrase that they use, not just ECW, WWE used it. If I'm remembering correctly, ECW has done it as well. I think this is a basic good name for a pay-per-view, or like, a tagline. So I actually don't mind this one. This one's pretty good. Next up is ECW's Holiday Hell. Not bad. It's okay. It's good enough. It's better than most of these, if I'm being honest with you. Next up is ECW's Hostile City Showdown, which is a tongue twister if you say it a lot. I've said it like 10 times already. This one is just, it's okay. Again, it's pretty mid. That's all it is. It's nothing great. It's nothing bad. It is what it is. Next up is ECW's House Party, which again, kind of reminds me of like the Showdown one, kind of just whatever. It's not as good as it gets. Honestly, as good as it gets might get this because I just think it's hilarious. It's just like a fucking, whatever. This is what we got. So you might as well just deal with it. I think that's hilarious. I might move this up to good because it's just funny. I'm going to put it in good, not because I'm taking it seriously. It's just, I find this hilarious. Next up is ECW's Guilty as Charged. This one's actually not bad. I'm very into like the crime and cop shows and stuff like that. So just kind of a playoff on that stuff. I actually don't mind this one. Guilty as Charged is fine. Pretty good. Next is ECW's Big Ass Extreme Bash. Saying that a couple times will be a problem. Big Ass Extreme Bash. Sure. I mean, it's good. It's fine. I just imagine like I'm in the ring with somebody and I'm challenging them like, me and you, one-on-one, ECW World Championship at Big Ass Extreme Bash. Does it hold the same weight? No, I'm not going to put it in no, but I'm definitely going to put it in that low tier mid. Because it's just, there's too much going on. Next up is ECW's Gangsta's Paradise, which is an interesting, because again, I just play it as in my head of like, I'm challenging someone to Gangsta's Paradise. It's not bad. It reminds me of that song, Gangsta's Paradise. I'll put it in good. I don't really have a problem with it. But if we were combining companies of like WWE, WCW, ECW, AEW, most of these would probably be in that low tier other than December to Dismember. Just based on these alone. Some of these are better than others, but in the grand scheme of things, a lot of them are pretty low tier, to be honest with you. Next up is ECW's Return of the Funker, which is revolved around Terry Funk, which, please, someone tell me, did Terry Funk show up? Because I looked at the match card, and Terry Funk did not wrestle, unless they used a different name, which would be weird. But Terry Funk is not on the actual match card. I'm assuming he just returned for the show, but if they use Return of the Funker and he's not there, that would be ridiculous. So I'm assuming he showed up, but he's not on the match card. But Return of the Funker is fine. It's really mid, but if it's based around Terry Funk, who, many people call a legend, stuff like that, respect, put it in good. Next up is ECW's Cyber Slam. And this is just a little fun fact about me, but the word cyber was just such a popular word when I was a kid, and I really liked it because I was a kid that grew up in the late 90s and the early 2000s, so the internet wasn't really what it was yet. I saw the internet explode, which is kind of mind-blowing now. So, like, we didn't have everything on our phones and stuff like that. A lot of things revolved around the word cyber. Think about Scooby-Doo. There was TV shows, stuff like that. Cyber is just a cool word to me. I don't know why I really like the word cyber, but Cyber Slam, it's fine. I think this was 94 or 96 or something like that, so it's really interesting to see Cyber Slam be the name, and I don't really know why it's called Cyber Slam. I really like that word, but Cyber Slam, I'm going to put it in mid. Next up is ECW's Hardcore Heaven, and I think this is the most straightforward pay-per-view name ECW possibly could ever have. I imagine being a casual person, again, in the store and just like, looking through the wrestling section and seeing Hardcore Heaven, because if I was a hardcore junkie and I saw Hardcore Heaven, I'd probably be interested in watching it. So for that alone, I'm going to put it in extreme because I think it's the most straightforward and honest pay-per-view name ECW could possibly name their pay-per-view. Next up is ECW's Massacre on 34th Street, and I'm pretty sure 34th Street is one building in Philly and ECW. I could be totally wrong. I'm just talking out of my ass, but I'm just assuming it's that building in Philly that was like the home of ECW. I'm assuming that's what it is. This is like a cheap one for me because I am a horror junkie. I am a horror, huge horror fan. If you have words like dismember and massacre, words that describe horrific events, I'm usually a fan. And I did this with St. Valentine's Day Massacre as well. If the word massacre is in it, I'm in. Putting it in an extreme, it is what it is. Next up is ECW's November to Remember, and I feel like this is just a watered-down version of December to Dismember, except November to Remember is terrible. It doesn't have any impact. It's just stupid to me. And it just reminds me of, like, a car dealership of the November to Remember sales event. It's just, that's what I think of when I think of pay-per-view names like this. Putting it in jail.
You right to jail.
Next up is ECW's Double Tables, which is another one where it's pretty stupid considering the fact that ECW is Extreme Championship Wrestling, where most of their events were hardcore, tables everywhere, chairs, blood, cursing, all that stuff. So to name it Double Tables, that almost limits it in a way because there's going to be a shit ton of tables at this event. So calling it Double Tables is just a stupid name. I think it's really stupid. It's going in jail.
You right to jail.
Next up is ECW's Ultimate Jeopardy. So are they all just going to play Jeopardy? Or how does this work out? I don't know if it's an event style that it's involved in the show of like they have to pick something and then they wrestle, something like that. Double Jeopardy is stupid. Or Ultimate Jeopardy. If Double Jeopardy would have worked better than Ultimate Jeopardy, I just think you're thinking of the Jeopardy show and then they just put Ultimate in the front of it. Are they going to play a game show? Like, what are they going to do? So this is stupid to me.
You right to jail.
It's going in jail. Now, if you're upset with most of my rankings of the ECW pay-per-views, let me know down below. But, ECW does not have very good pay-per-view names in general. But if you enjoyed this type of content, if you enjoyed this video, I have a WWE pay-per-view name tier list ranking if you want to check that out. And if you enjoy this video, if you're open to it, I would love to do a WCW pay-per-view name ranking. And I would even do AEW's pay-per-view name ranking as well. So let me know down below if you want to see that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.